The two most common types of spay are the ovariohysterectomy, where the ovaries and the uterus are removed, or what's called an ovary-sparing spay, in which the uterus is removed but the ovaries are left behind. And there are a lot of reasons why we spay dogs and cats. In the US especially, we do it because of population control, where hundreds of thousands of healthy animals are euthanized every year due to lack of homes. Another reason is disease prevention, specifically mammary neoplasia in dogs and cats, where spaying before the first heat cycle greatly decreases their chances of getting it. Pyometras are a life-threatening infection in the uterus, which can happen in 25 to 66% of our intact female dogs. An animal can be spayed to get rid of undesirable genes, such as certain dogs that carry certain genetic diseases that they don't want passed on to offspring. And in some cases, it's a convenience factor, because unspayed dogs go through things like heat cycles, and some owners just don't want to deal with that. What are some complications of spaying? With incisional complications, intra-abdominal hemorrhage, postoperative pain, surgical errors, and hormonal changes being the most commonly cited causes. And hemorrhage can happen in anywhere between 1.1 to 11% of dogs and cats, but is most common in dogs over 50 pounds, and when a surgery is performed by a student. I couldn't find any information about age of spaying and complications, but if we compare like a pediatric uterus to a grown uterus, you can see why large breed adult in-heat spays cost more and are a little bit trickier than pediatrics. Spay incontinence is another potential consequence, and while there's variable information on when, most say under 3 months of age, with dogs larger than 15 kgs more likely to be affected than small dogs. When and should you spay your dog or cat? This has been a huge topic of debate lately in veterinary medicine, especially things like cancer, with studies showing variable results, where some showing that non-neutered males are at a higher chance of developing lymphoma, others showing that spayed animals had higher incidences, but those spayed after 12 months had even higher incidences, and what seems to be some pretty serious breed variation, and that studies on specific breeds cannot be extrapolated to the general population. And this applies to things like hemangiosarcoma as well, and osteosarcoma in Rottweilers. But this retrospective study out of UC Davis is a lot more current, and is the one that most people talk about, which concluded something pretty similar, that there were major breed differences in vulnerability to neutering between both joint disorders and cancers, where small breed dogs seem to have no increased risk of joint disorders with neutering, and only 2 small breed dogs having a significant increase in cancer. And when you look at lifespan between spayed and unspayed dogs, where spayed counterparts live much longer than unspayed. And when we're talking about these cancer risks in these spayed versus unspayed animals, are these cancer associations actually due to them living longer? These are great discussions to have with your daytime veterinarian, who can help you to decide an appropriate time to spay your dog or cat.